What's going on, everybody? It's Noah, and in today's episode of The Rise Method, I want to provide some practical tips that you can implement in your life right after this video to change your lifestyle in such a way that you experience greater health, greater vitality, and shifting your external environment in such a way that it's more conducive to the internal change you might be seeking. Now, the primary focus of this channel is to work from the inside out and to recognize your power as a conscious creator and to recognize the power of belief and imagination. And that will be included in this discussion as well today when we talk about the fifth element. That said, there are certain environmental shifts that you can make in your life, the food you're eating, the type of light that you're surrounding yourself in, the water that you're drinking, the air that you're breathing. Okay, those are the four elements. There are shifts that you can make in the external environment that make it that much easier to shift from the inside out, because the outside in can help to transform from the inside out. They are reciprocal to one another, the internal and the external. So today I want to provide you with five practical tips that you can implement into your life now. And it's based off of the 5 elements of Ayurvedic medicine. Okay, we have earth, we have water, air, fire, and we have ether. Okay, and I want to talk about earth first. Now, earth is the densest element. When it comes to the earth element, what you can do to become healthier and to harness the earth element, let's say, it's to focus on your nutrition and it's to focus on grounding or earthing. And earthing is essentially getting outside and placing your bare feet onto the earth or hugging a tree, getting bare skin contact with the earth's surface, okay, on the dirt, on the grass. If you're at the ocean, you can be walking in the water, whatever that might be, finding direct contact with the earth. Okay, you could also do this if you're wearing leather sandals, because leather is an electrical conductor and it doesn't prevent that flow of electric current from the earth through your body. But if you're wearing regular shoes that have rubber soles, that prevents that electrical flow between you and the earth. The earth is continually emitting free electrons. Why you want electrons is because electrons are ultimately how your cells operate. It's how they produce energy. In middle school biology, you may have heard of something called the electron transport chain, and that is the main means through which your cells create energy. So by grounding yourself, earthing, you're actually giving yourself more energy. It's free energy emitted from the earth that you can get in tune with. Now, with that as well comes needing to block non-native EMF, non-native electromagnetic frequencies. Okay, so we have the Earth's natural electromagnetic frequency. We have our own natural electromagnetic frequency, which is oftentimes and is designed to be resonant with the Earth's frequency. However, with devices such as the phone on which I'm recording, your laptop that you're watching this on, or your phone that you're watching this on, the Wi-Fi in our homes, the cell towers in our cities, all of these things, those are non-native forms of electromagnetic frequency, right? We created them. So where that becomes problematic is that they are so high frequency compared to the Earth's frequency or your personal electromagnetic frequency that it creates essentially a wave interference. So if you're emitting waves, right, that are at, let's say, 90 to 100 hertz, you have information in the form of 5G that's 5 gigahertz, 5 billion hertz. So it's a massive difference, and it creates a dissonance between your electromagnetic field and the electromagnetic field of the device. All that to say that you can do things like putting your laptop, putting your Wi-Fi router outside of where you sleep. You don't want to sleep next to that. And even being mindful of sockets or electrical devices that you're plugging in near where you sleep, because where you sleep is where most of the healing takes place, and that's where you gain most of your energy. So it's very important to prioritize your sleep space and to, again, remove laptops, sources of non-native EMF, your phone, put it on airplane mode to set that away from you when you're sleeping. Now, with Earth, we also have to discuss nutrition, the foods that we're eating. Now, this could be a whole other topic. I could devote this whole channel to discussing nutrition specifically, but I want you to keep in mind this acronym that I like to use, that you reap what you sow. right? We talk about that here in terms of mind, right? The thoughts and the feelings that you sow, that you're going to reap the fruits of that. But SOW, refers to seasonal, organic, whole foods. Okay, so whether that's meats, whether that's fruits, vegetables, even grains to a certain extent. If they're seasonal, so if they're, which is another term for local, if they're within 50 to 100 miles of you, if they grow in that region, that would classify as seasonal. Organic, meaning they're not sprayed and imbued with a host of pesticides and herbicides like glyphosate and all of these chemicals, these synthetic chemicals that are harming your endocrine system, your hormones. And then whole foods, any food right now that grows from the earth or from the wild, that you would recognize it in its native form, right? So if it's a plant food, if it's vegetables, you would recognize that it was a vegetable, like it's not ground or blended up. That isn't to say that juices, like fruit juices and vegetable juices, can't be healthy. But for the sake of simplicity, we want to try to maintain whole foods. So foods in their native form, and whether it be, again, animal foods or plant foods. So you reap what you sow, seasonal, organic, and whole food. Now, bringing it to water. Water's a little more straightforward when we're discussing the cleanliness and the purity of water. We all understand the necessity of clean water. So getting filters, a really good filter, I recommend a reverse osmosis filter, and then simply remineralizing your water with good quality salts like a Celtic sea salt or Redmond real salt's another good one. Just putting some of that into your water, because reverse osmosis does pull the minerals out. So getting really good filtration like that, but reverse osmosis and distilled water distillers are great. And making sure you're drinking out of glass as opposed to metal bottles or plastic bottles. Plastic is the worst. You want to avoid plastic as much as you can when it comes to containers of any sorts, whether that's food or with water. And then we want to talk too a little bit about water structure. Now this is an interesting one, and again, and a whole other video can be devoted to structured water, what that is. But essentially, if you look at the research by a man named Gerald Pollack, he has discovered this fourth phase of water. And this is kind of built off of the work of Gilbert Ling as well. Essentially, we know water to have a solid, liquid, and gaseous phase. Well, Gerald Pollack's research has discovered this fourth phase where water takes on this crystalline structure, and it actually doesn't. It no longer exists as H2O, but becomes H3O2. It becomes this crystalline lattice structure that in your body, and without going too far into this rabbit hole, water serves as the conduit for electrical exchange in your body, and it actually stores memory. So in this structured form, that is the form of water that your cells prefer, because it's more effective at transferring energy, information through the body, and the cells are better able to communicate with each other. So how do you increase the water structure? There's a few ways. Getting out in the sun, getting infrared light, infrared saunas can be really good for this. That infrared wavelength of light has been shown to really help to structure water. Sweating, being in a sauna, or even bouts of cold exposure can do this as well. It helps to structure cellular water. In terms of nutrition, okay, you can eat raw foods like raw meats, raw milk, raw vegetables, raw fruits, because when you don't cook them, you preserve the structured water that was present in the cells of that plant or that animal. So raw foods are another way to get a source of a structured water. Now we go to the air element, which is referring to the breath. It's referring to breathing and the cleanliness of the air that we breathe. So ridding mold toxins from the environment, okay, getting dust, making sure you have a clean living space, getting an air purifier, things like that. And also ridding the house of synthetic cleaners and detergents, fragrances, because these synthetic compounds, okay, also have negative effects on the endocrine system. Things like parabens and phthalates and triclosan. The ammonia and bleach is terrible. You don't want to use bleach. Okay, so it's opting for natural cleaners, vinegar, baking soda, essential oils, salt, things of that nature. Using more natural cleaners that are going to be beneficial for your health and also for the health of the planet, which tend to go hand in hand. So also being mindful of the cleaners that you're using, the body washes that you're using, opting instead for something like Castile soap, which is just plant oil, soap of plant oils, or a tallow-based soap, things of that nature, as opposed to the swath of body washes and shampoos and conditioners that are on the market today. Okay, looking for those more ancestral options, because again, this is all in the name of health. It's all in the name of helping you to feel more vibrant, more energetic, so that you can become a more energetic, conscious creator. And the second part of the air element we want to discuss is the breath. Okay, using the breath to modulate our nervous system. Now, if you're listening to this video, it's likely the case that you come from a place where there is a lot of what is called sympathetic innervation. So you're activating your sympathetic fight or flight nervous system a lot. You're busy, you're stressed, you're overwhelmed. A lot of us in the world today are oftentimes operating in this fight or flight state, given the nature of information, and we're overwhelmed and we're stressed and we're worried about what's going to happen tomorrow, and growing our business, and whether we'll find love. Like we're always putting ourselves in this stressful state. Okay, and we often equate that stressful sympathetic state to a state of force, right, versus a state of power. And we've talked about that in previous discussions. So what you can do is to slow down the breath. Okay, this is pivotal to any form of meditation or visualization. It's being able to relax in the body, relax the nervous system, taking a deep breath in and a nice exhale. And that exhale, that slow exhale, is crucial to help activate the parasympathetic nervous system, okay, to help bring us back into that calm, clear-headed, flow-based state. Now we come to the fire element, and this is all about dialing in your light environment. And when we talk about this, we're namely talking about getting more sunlight, essentially. Now, that doesn't have to be direct sunlight, and it doesn't have to be just in the middle of the day when the UV rays are at their peak. That can be beneficial for a few reasons. But this is more just about getting natural light into your life by simply opening a window while you're working, because windows filter full spectrum sunlight. So opening a window while you're working, getting out in the bookends of the day at sunrise and sunset. And that's really important for your circadian rhythm, so that you're sleeping better and improving your energetic production. So getting in tune with the waking and rising of the sun, that helps with a consistent sleep and wake cycle. It's going to help to improve your sleep as well. Also, finding times to get out into the sun. Now, the exposure will vary from person to person. I'm not a doctor. I'm not providing medical advice. But I will say that given the sun is the source of all life on Earth, and we've been under this sun for hundreds of millions of years, it stands to reason that it's more beneficial than harmful. Now, don't stand out there until you're burning yourself. But getting out earlier in the day, at the end of the day, at the bookends of the day, that actually primes your brain to prepare or to produce sufficient melanin to protect from the sun. And then when you're out in the sun, there's a few things: changing the fat quality in your diet, eating more saturated, less unsaturated fat, things like seed oils. Changing that can be beneficial because that fat gets stored in your skin, right? And so if you're eating rancid fats, that's going to oxidize when you're in the sun, leading to skin problems such as sunburns. And also using some forms of sunscreen if you're there for prolonged periods of time, like a zinc oxide mineral sunscreen, or even using oils like olive oil or coconut oil on the skin. Topical caffeine as well is beneficial there. You just want to be mindful of a lot, again, of sunscreens on the market that can be beneficial, or harmful rather, for the skin, the health of your skin. And now we come to the fifth element, the quintessential element, ether. We've discussed ether in previous videos as well. Remember that ether permeates all four other elements: earth, water, air, and fire. Okay, because at the base of all matter, if you look down at the atomic level, the atom is 99.99% space. It's mostly space. It's mostly this immaterial form of energy. Even this desk that I'm tapping right next to me, at the base of that, it's ultimately space. Okay, and you are ultimately space. You are ultimately consciousness. So what I mean to tell you there, and why this is important, is that if you're not altering and living from the state of being that has already actualized, that health, that vitality that you're seeking, but you're just trying to get it by making all these health hacks on the outside, by shifting your external all the time, it will be helpful. Yes, certainly, it'll be helpful. As without, so within, as within, so without. But to remember the source of all manifestation is your consciousness, is your state of being. And that is the focus of the RISE method here. Yes, it is to become a conscious creator, to live life from the inside out, to recognize your power and to rise above these limiting beliefs, these narratives that we've told ourselves that we are subject to our external circumstances. When in reality, it's our perceptions of the external that create the narrative, that create the feelings and the beliefs that we are not worthy, we are not able to obtain that which we desire, to have that love, to have that success and that prosperity. And it's the belief in that then reflects externally, which then reinforces that original belief. So by shifting the state of being, flipping that script, that is the means by which you actualize that health with the aid of the other 4 elements of earth, water, air, and fire. So thank you so much for listening. Be sure to like, to subscribe. If you enjoyed this content, if you found this to be helpful, practical, if you want me to discuss more of these health habits and go into further detail on these topics, leave a comment below. Let me know. I love you so much. Thank you so much for listening. And until next time, let's rise.